Welcome back, guys. And
We were hyped. I mean, the amount of let's goes that were sent back and forth is crazy.
I think this trade kind of shocked us a little. It kind of shocked me.
super exciting.
That's kind of hard to believe.
Let's get hyped and let's get into the video.
Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Talking Tridents, a Mariners podcast. We have a couple topics to cover today. Off season is a little slow right now, but we do have some news. Most recently, Mariners signed Rob Refsnyder to a one-year deal. Some question marks around this deal that we have. Let's get your thoughts on the signing, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so Rob Refsnyder, kind of a similar signing that we've seen the last few years with like names like Donovan Solano and AJ Pollock. It's a veteran bat who's had some really good experience, but mainly has played a platoon role. They signed him to a one-year, $6.25 million deal with some incentives in there. He's coming off a really good season from the Red Sox, which is really good to see. But I don't know. Like, I mean, what was your initial thought when we saw that? I know we texted a little bit about it, but what was your initial thought when we saw that signing come through?
Yeah, so my immediate thought was this is another Mitch Garver. Mm-hmm. I think he was overpaid. I think the Mariners overpaid for him. Based off of what he was making last year was like 1.9, I think, million.
Yeah, he tripled his income this year.
Now we're paying him
34 years old.
Yeah, now we're paying him almost $7 for 1 year, which I think is kind of crazy. When you look at his numbers aren't bad. They're good, but the thing is, it's limited playing time. And like you said, he's going to be like a platoon type bat. And that's how his whole career has been. He's never really had a full season of like regular playing time, kind of like Mitch Garver. And in the times when he does, when he has played, he puts up good numbers. So it's like, okay, like, you see some potential there. But, the Mariners have a history of signing guys like this, and they do not work out well in Seattle.
As I mentioned earlier, we saw that with AJ Pollock and Donovan Solano and Mitch Garver.
Yeah.
Like I'll play. I'm not a Mitch Garver hater per se, but I mean, even Mitch Garver brought some more value because he could play catcher, a backup position that was really necessary. Rob Refsnyder, at best, plays a decent corner outfield. So.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Mitch Garver, was a backup catcher, so like, what can you really expect? So he did have value there, but again, remember, we brought him in to be like a starter, right? Not a catcher, but a starting DH, and then probably I think when we brought him in, he wasn't even planned to be playing catcher really at all, right? Wasn't he? We signed him just to be like a full-time DH, maybe catch like occasionally, but it was. Because we had who do we have? I think we had Luis Torrens at the time.
No, the season before we did, but not when we signed Garver. It was just Cal Raleigh, and then it was what was his name? Murphy.
Oh yeah, Tom Murphy.
Tom Murphy, yeah.
I think Tom Murphy was before Luis Torrens, actually. I don't know, somewhere in there. But anyway, So Rob Refsnyder, but he plays first and corner outfield.
Yeah, he's listed as an outfielder, a second baseman, and a first baseman on
second base.
Reference.
I don't know if I've ever seen him play second, but
I'm sure the Mariners won't. Like, if you look at the signing on like MLB trade rumors, it says that the right-handed platoon outfield bat for Dan Wilson. So I think they see him as an outfielder.
Yeah, which again is kind of a question mark to me because we have, some. We don't have a lot of room in the outfield right now, and we have, role like Luke Raley, who's kind of already filling the position that Rob Refsnyder is coming in to do. So what does that mean for Luke Raley? I don't know, but I don't really like this move. It's kind of concerning to me, honestly. He feels a little desperate, in my opinion, at this stage.
I agree, and Rob Refsnyder, if you look at his stats, I mean, obviously last year, like, he didn't do bad. He batted .269, he had 9 home runs and 30 RBIs over 70 games, totaling a 1.2 WAR, which is tied for his highest WAR ever. But as you mentioned
Yeah.
earlier, the most games he's ever played in a season was 93, which was in 2024, where he batted 283 with 11 bombs. So, I mean, he's a true platoon/bench bat who can play outfield. Most likely will get some at-bats at DH, because as of right now, no one else but Cal Raleigh and him are going to be getting DH reps most likely. Maybe some Canzone, but
Right.
it just, I would say concerning is the right word for it. I mean, could this end up being a great signing? Then he has like a one WAR season with some clutch home runs, and he plays some defense when you need him to. Great, sure. He's an aging player who has not proved himself in a full season at the MLB level, and we need everyday bats. You mentioned Luke Raley. I would even argue that Canzone and Robles are already these kind of guys, guys that can play half the year and that can come in and play corner outfield, DH when you need them to. But now you have 4 guys like that on your roster. It just seems redundant at that point, and you got to go out and get somebody who's really going to make a difference on this team.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's the Mariners, like you said it perfectly. We need everyday bats, and Rob Refsnyder is not an everyday bat at all. Or has not been at all in his career, and now at this point, he is going to be. I don't see how that. Again, if the Mariners are that naive that they think history won't repeat itself, I mean, we tried this already, most recently with Mitch Garver, and in the past, it's those type of bats don't work well with the Mariners, and a lot of times those type of players, for some reason, get forced or end up in an everyday role, right? Like, how many times have we seen that?
Well, I mean,
A lot,
how long
right?
did we stay with Mitch Garver before we finally said, okay, you know what, you're strictly a backup, you're playing 1, maybe 2 days a week? I mean, I can remember in the 2024 season, Mitch Garver was playing 6 out of 7 games in the week, still batting under 150, or around 150, I'd say. And that's just, I'm not, I really don't hope that Rob Refsnyder does not turn into this, because you know what? We've had so much bad luck with these, older players, the veteran presence who have had opportunities at the MLB level and have shown promise. We've had so many of that to have another bad one, right? Again, Garver, Pollock, Solano. You can even argue Polo, if we didn't re-sign him to this last year, would have been in the same boat, Yeah, so Rob Refsnyder signings, I hope it's not a telling that the market's not developing the way the Mariners had thought, that all these trades are now off the table, that we're no longer going to be getting a second baseman via trade, and that we weren't going to sign a second baseman or third baseman to begin with. So I hope this is not a fallback. I hope this is not a hey, this guy's going to get a lot more playing time, probably the most he's ever had in his career at age 34. But it just looks like one of those signings you sign when you have everything else answered, and there's still a lot of question marks on this roster.
Yeah, I love that. I agree 100%. This is the type of player that is a good signing if you have all those other question marks answered and everyday roles filled, and you need a bench bat, veteran presence with success coming off the bench in the past. If he can do what he's done in the past, like that's good, right? But the fact that we're signing him this point in the off season with still a lot of question marks on our starting lineup, and the market was that strong for him that we had to pay $7 million.
Yeah,
I
think it's all of his incentives. I mean, that's I guess a best case, because you're paying him the extra because of a good reason, right? And the incentives haven't been released of what the incentives are. It just says there's another $250,000 in incentives to play. So and you had just mentioned this, like this far into the offseason, we are officially on the back half of the offseason. We are closer to the first pitch in spring training than we are to the last pitch in the World Series. Right. So no major trades have happened. We got Ferrer, obviously. We've signed Refsnyder. We've secured Naylor for some years. But other than that, what's happened? Has your team gotten better? I say no.
Hey, don't forget about Andrew Knizner.
Oh, my guy. Knizner, if you're watching this, I apologize.
That was a big sign right there. But yeah, I mean, like you said, do you think the Mariners have gotten better this offseason?
No, not at all. I mean, if I were to give this offseason a grade, and this grade's very generous, and it's driven mainly because of Josh Naylor's extension, but I mean, they have a C, maybe even a C- right now. And coming off of a, ALC championship, that's redundant, ALCS appearance, you need to do better than this. And there's been a lot of talks about, the Mariners don't want to trade from their major league roster. Why the hell not? Go out and get these bats, because second base is a question mark, third base is a question mark, right field's a question mark, DH is a question mark. You can't be a team that competes the whole year if you don't start the year trying to compete. And we talked about this last time. We're probably beating a dead horse at this point, but frankly, I'm pissed. So,
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I can't say it better. And speaking about trades, and we haven't seen anything happen really on that front, and we're over halfway through the off season now. I saw multiple articles come out today that the Diamondbacks are going to be ending trade talks for Ketel Marte here soon. Apparently, they were saying that no offers have been close to what they want to get in return for him, and they want to start focusing on this year with the players that they have, and they're going to take Ketel Marte off the table here. So it sounds like the Mariners are out on that front. I'm sure they've had their conversations with the Diamondbacks, and we know the Diamondbacks want pitching, and I think this just shows that the Mariners 100% are not going to be trading from their starting rotation. And at any point, at any level, I should say, the 5 guys on the Mariners starting rotation, as well as our ready starters in the minor leagues, right?
Yeah, and we've seen many articles about this. That the front office has been very adamant that they're not going to trade away any of their starting pitching. And could you say that's smart? Sure. Could you say it's dumb? Sure. But you're looking at a rotation that includes Castillo, Wu, Kirby, and Gilbert, who are 4. All of them could be your number 1, truly. Like, all of those guys could be your number 1. And then you have Miller, Hancock, and Evans, who I say are your second tier. So right there, 7 starters. And injuries happen. 2 years ago, that was the anomaly where we only had a total of, 8 starters go the whole year. But, I mean, if you're truly trying to make your Major League roster better without losing a lot of your hitting, a lot of your pitching, and there's a sacrifice that's got to be made in there. And I think trading away a Kirby or a Miller or someone like that I think that's a sacrifice that we need to be willing to make at this time, especially if it's for a name like Ketel Marte. And so hearing that from the Diamondbacks, it's frustrating, because I feel like they were very, very willing to hear. I mean, there was all these talks about how bad he is in the clubhouse, and I frankly don't see that personally. Am I in that clubhouse every day? No, I'm not at all. But the official MLB trade rumors article says Ketel Marte trade talks won't last all offseason. So to me, the way I interpret that is best offer now, or they are changing what they are doing this offseason. They are no longer sellers. They are no longer in a rebuild mode. They are officially in a, you know what, we're going to contend again. So make your best offer. Let's do it, DePato. Right. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we talked about this over text the other week, but I'm going to say it again. What Jerry was saying earlier this offseason was that he didn't want to trade the starter because of injuries. And last season we had pretty much the whole season last year, at some point, either one of our minor league starters was in the rotation, right? Was starting.
Hancock, Evans, Diaz, Castillo 2.0. I mean, we had some starts from some deep cuts in the minor league system.
And exactly, and we had a lot of injuries last year that was unpredictable, and I really hope that doesn't happen again this year. But the fact that we made it as far as we did last year, with pretty much the whole regular season, at some point every single week, one of those guys, if not multiple of those guys, had to make a start. Why not trade a starter then, or two, not maybe like a lower tier and a Miller or Kirby, to get Marte, right? Doesn't that make sense?
It makes sense to me. And to further your point, if you're worried about depth, guess what? There's still starting pitching available in the free agency market. So let's say you go, and this is gonna be a crazy name. I'm not saying this is who the Mariners should re-sign, but go sign a Marco Gonzalez type, a guy who used to play at a decent level who's older now, but he probably could go out and eat up some innings. What was that guy's name a few years back? Wade LeBlanc. Like, what's stopping us from trading one of our top tier starters for a top tier bat, hoping that Evans or Hancock or maybe even Anderson can be an impact on the rotation this year, and then signing a backup guy like that to be in your minor league roster, down at Tacoma pitching, and when you need a spot start, you pull him up. I think that's a far better plan than keeping all of your starters, because guess what? Mariners have had the best, I'd argue, the best success of pitching development in the majors, so they could do it again.
I agree 100%. 100%, and everyone...
Dude, he's so excited, he's hiccuping about this. Like, come on.
I can't contain myself. Every analyst, scout, everyone that you talk to or hear talk about the Mariners pitching development is the Mariners' strength, and every draft, every not every high ranked prospect, but the amount of successful pitchers that the Mariners develop is consistent versus the bats that we can develop, right?
And it's just, there's so many. I mean, I'm looking at the prospects right now, the top 10 prospects for the Mariners, and let's see, Cade Anderson at 2, Ryan Sloan at 4, Sinji, is that how you say it? Sinji at 7, and then you go beyond there. Like, there's not a lot of prospects, but guess what? That's still 3, and I haven't even mentioned those names before when I was talking about Evans and Hancock. So this is an organization that has so much depth at pitching. You can, if you want to eat some cake, eat some goddamn cake. There's going to be more cake later.
Yeah, exactly. Like, these guys are not far from being ready as well. Like, I don't know. Last year, we had a lot of injuries on the rotation, and I don't really see how we could have. Yeah, it happens, and you can't really predict that. But I don't see how we could have more injuries this year than we did last year, right?
Mm-hmm. And if we do, well, then come back and you can hunt us, because that's crazy.
Yeah, if we do, and you know what? But what are you doing?
Yeah.
Now is the time, because also the other thing is you're not going to be able to re-sign all these starters, right? Like, in the future. And
Gilbert has 2 or 3 years left. Kirby has 3 or 4. Miller and Wu have 5 or 6. I mean,
that's still a lot of time.
Lose a lot of them.
Yeah, it's still a lot of time, but it's just why not? But who knows where our offense will be at that point, right? Exactly. Our core, Julio, Cal, and Naylor now are there, but it's other than that, who knows what's going to be?
Yeah.
So
we should. I say we talk more about the what is still on the market. We've talked a lot about what the Mariners have missed out on. Marte potentially is no longer an option. Obviously, the Mariners aren't going to go after a Bo Bichette or an Alex Bregman type.
I think the time for that has sailed. I think early in the offseason, it's good. It's fun to be optimistic, and you think, oh my gosh, if the Mariners really want to, they will.
Of course, you can go out and spend another $100 million onto your payroll, and you turn into one of the best teams in the league, potentially top 5.
At this point, I think if it was, I don't know, you could say they're waiting to see, but anyway.
But continue. I think with Marte leaving the market, I think that just makes the Mariners all in on Brendan Donovan. I think you have to be all in on Brendan Donovan. You cannot roll out with Rob Refsnyder as your DH, Canzone in right field, Cole Young at second base, and Ben Williamson at third base. You just can't.
No, that's way worse than last year, actually. That's
the idea
horrendous.
of Cole Emerson starting at third or second, that's a great idea, and I really hope that works out. If he has a Julio year, then you know what? Cool. We only have 3 question marks then. But as of right now, there's 4. And you need to minimize that to, I would say, to 2, if at all possible.
Yeah, I agree. You cannot have 4.
I even say bringing Gino back could be an argument that you filled your DH hole then.
Yeah, I like Gino, but his track record with the Mariners and how he played last year is just really tough for me to be really wanting him back. But at this point, if we can't get anyone else, at least bring him back. Cool, is better than what we have now. But like I've said before, you cannot roll out a lineup with this many question marks on a team that is ready to compete for World Series. I mean, you just can't do it.
And for Brendan Donovan, they've also been some new reports that Jurangelo St. J is the top name the Mariners are willing to get rid of. Anything above that, they are not willing to do to get that deal done. Do you think that gets the deal done? Because I mean, he's Mariners' number 7 overall prospect. On MLB prospects, he's looked at like as a 2027 starter. So he'd have another year after this, and then he's competing in the major league level. Do you see the Cardinals going after that? Because by that time that hits, I mean, he could be one of their middle guys, their fourth guy in the rotation. So do you think that's enough to get 2 years of Brendan Donovan done, or do you think the Mariners are going to have to sweeten the deal with another high end prospect?
I don't think the Cardinals are ready or going to be competing this year, or even maybe next year. So I think you could get the deal done with that. I don't think you would really need to sweeten the deal much more than that, honestly. Maybe like another prospect, but
I'd say you throw in like a Ty Pete or a Jared Sundstrom, like
another something like that,
a 10+ kind of guy, where he's not the top prospect in your organization, but he goes to the Cardinals and becomes a top 5, 6 or 7 guy.
Yeah, so I could see that. The fact that Brendan Donovan only has 2 years left for a team that's being on a team like the Cardinals, who's not going to be competing during that time frame, I think it actually lowers his value.
I do too. I was thinking the same thing. Because I don't know if you've seen Cardinals fans on Twitter and all these things, but they think that Brendan Donovan should get him like a Brian Wu in return. I'm like, that's not comparable in any way, shape, or form.
No,
you have 2 years of this guy, 2 years of him, not 5. If it was 5, sure, we could have a conversation about Cade Anderson, Ryan Sloan, but Sinji's what you get.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of, I agree. Yeah, it's kind of like they're gonna take what they can get, and I think they're going to hear the best offers. For Donovan, and if the other teams aren't there either, then I think Sinji's going to be basically like all that it would take, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Sinji and like I said, a 10 and beyond ranked prospect on the Mariners can get that deal done.
Yeah.
And again, we talked about that. That does a lot for your lineup. Adding a guy who can play every day, play at second base, give Cole Young and other young prospects some extra time to develop. I think that'd be very beneficial. And he probably hits 1. I mean, he's probably your leadoff guy.
Yeah,
because
which would be great. Because then imagine we could have Robles lower down in the lineup, Crawford lower down in the lineup. Who else would be hitting leadoff?
Well, I only see
Randy, I guess.
Randy,
really.
He could. Julio, I wouldn't be surprised if they throw Julio there again at some point this year. But I mean, it'd be really nice to have a solid guy. I mean,
or even if they did put like a Julio or Randy again at leadoff,
because then you can also put Donovan at like 6. And
we could move Donovan down. We could have Donovan, Robles, and Crawford at the bottom of the lineup, which actually would be sweet.
Yeah,
like it would really lengthen out our lineup a lot, I think. Yeah. Just his flexibility. But the way I like to look at it a little bit too is like last year. I know this isn't exactly comparable because this was at the deadline, but at the deadline last year, look who we gave up for Josh Naylor and Gino. Those
fleeced them.
Yeah, both of those guys are better than Brendan Donovan, right? Would you agree with that or no?
I think Brendan Donovan has Gino just on a overall player aspect. I mean, he hits for average, he can hit for power, he hits doubles, plays a great defense. I think that's pretty valuable. Suarez is kind of the true 3-punch guy. He's going to walk, he's going to strike out, he's going to hit a bomb. So I would say Josh Naylor is still the top player in that, but then I think Brendan Donovan second, and then Gino third. So that's why I think Brendan Donovan's going to cost more, because he has the 2 years and he's a true MLB ready player. He's been in the MLB for a few years now, But I mean, he's a potential All-Star. He's a guy that if he has his career, he can see himself getting the first nod to the All-Star game. So
yeah, and that's fair. So that means look what we gave up for Naylor, right? Mm-hmm. So. And look up what we gave for Gino. So if we had to give up a little bit more than what we gave up for Gino, but a little less, about the equivalent.
I think the team control is just what's so valuable there, because both Naylor and Gino were 60-game rentals. Donovan you get for 2 whole seasons and hopefully 2 postseasons as well. So
So basically, what I'm trying to say is we shouldn't have to give up much more than what we gave up for Naylor or Suarez, right? Yeah. So I think Sinji is probably a good, like.
And the Cardinals said they want
What
pitching.
we have to do.
And
Yeah.
Sinji he's a solid pitcher, and if they want something more MLB ready, then I think we should be throwing names like Logan Evans and Emerson Hancock out there. Two former, Emerson
100%.
Hancock, he was a number 6 overall pick not too
Yeah.
long ago. He's entering his 27th. He's 27 this season, so he has a lot to prove. I mean, put him at your 5-starter in the Cardinals and see what he can do. You know.
Yeah. Honestly, if we did that deal straight up, Emerson Hancock for Brendan Donovan, I think that's a good deal.
I don't think the
On both
Cardinals
sides.
take it, but yeah.
Why not? Why not? He can slot into your rotation right away,
He's
and
just
he
too
has
much
a
of a
lot to
question
prove.
mark. He
Yeah,
has
but
a
so is
4+ and a 5+ ERA in the 2 years he's played at the major league level. That I think if I was a Cardinals fan and I got that return, I'd be pissed.
I mean,
If I got him
but-
plus a prospect, like what if we threw in a
yeah,
I
give
don't
him.
know. Again, like I honestly would consider throwing in like Felon and Selston or Ty Pete in that deal, and just to kind of sweeten it and give him someone else.
Okay,
to
give him
to look
Hancock
at,
and
but-
give him a lower offensive prospect. I think that's good.
Yeah, I think
I think
Hancock
that's
and Sinji,
fair
believe
on
it or
both
not,
players.
I think Sinji actually has a little more value than Hancock
Yeah,
does.
because he hasn't pitched in MLB yet,
Yeah.
so and Hancock, you can't really. You could definitely do better. So
You
it's
can't
like,
unpitch him in the MLB now.
Yeah,
he's gotten
so-
destroyed by quite a few teams, including the Tigers. So
yeah. I mean, you're right, but yeah, but it's just no, I don't know what other teams have been offered for or been offering for Brendan Donovan. I'd be really curious to see, so we can know where we're at. But
yeah,
I feel like if a deal hasn't been done yet, I feel like there is an opportunity for us to get a deal done for a relatively good price.
yeah.
I think that means no one's really high, offering a really good deal that the Cardinals are like, oh, we got to take that.
And this has been an interesting offseason. We've seen some, unique trades. We've seen some free agent signings, but I mean, Kyle Tucker's still available. Alex Bregman's still available. Bo Bichette.
That's true.
I wonder if once these pieces all start to fall, we're going to see a lot more, because we thought that when Naylor was going to sign, we'd see Alonso right after or Schwarber right after, but it still took some time to develop. So this offseason has been a unique one, and I know that you and I have only been closely watching these off seasons for a few years now, but it's going to be interesting to see, and I have some inclinations in my head that Mariners are going to make a trade that we don't expect at all, but we're going to be very excited about it, and I can't wait till that's announced, because we got to get some things happening soon, or guess what? Cole Young and Williamson are going to be on your opening day roster. So
No. I could see the Mariners making a trade that was just totally out of the weeds, and we don't expect that at all. It's like, that seems something the Mariners would do.
no, we've had a few in our days, right?
Yeah, for sure. You know how Jerry is.
Yeah.
So he's ready.
But with the offseason over halfway over, I think it's paramount that the Mariners go out and you got to trade for one more bat. You got to sign another bat. Ideally, if you can get two, great. But our options are fading, and with spring training nearing, we got to make some things happen, or you're going to be looked at as a team that's not in contention right away. We're going to have to be a team that's going to have to prove it, and it seems like every year we're trying to prove it. So
yeah, if Mariners, let's just say we do not make any more acquisitions this off season. Oh my God, I'm not looking forward to hearing how much trash is talked about the Mariners for that. Everyone is
if everyone stays healthy on your team and everyone plays at their greatest ability, you may have a 90-win team, maybe even a 92-win team. That's, again, fully optimistic. Cal, hits another 50 home run season. Naylor's hitting 30 bombs with batting 280 plus. Julio has his best year yet. You might be able to see 90, 92. The way baseball goes is there's always going to be hurdles, there's always going to be injuries, and there's always going to be underperformance. That's just baseball. Yep. If you run out this with your roster you have currently, even with your stellar rotation, you're looking at 85, 86 wins. And I'm sorry, but I'm not content with the wild card anymore after winning the West. I'm not content with it. So
yeah,
we got to go out there and we got to make some things happen, because, like you said, there's going to be a lot of fans that are going to be pretty pissed if they see, another season wasted, another opportunity wasted. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, those are our thoughts on the offseason. At this point of the offseason where we're at right now, thank you for watching this episode of Talking Tridents. Comment down below if you have any other thoughts or moves the Mariners should make at this point in the offseason. And yeah, we've got a new logo, a new intro as well. So we're kind of, we're moving up a little bit. We got some improvements being made to the channel. So appreciate you guys. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys next episode.